My name is Julia Akila binti Muhammad Zakaria. My student ID E22A0213. Today, I would like to talk about pollution control via legal approach. I would like to talk about introduction. Water pollution is one of the big problems in the Malaysia. Water pollution also when pollution are directly released into a body of water without adequate treatment to remove harmful compounds. Secondly, water can support all forms of life on the planet. A lot of benefit can do with water, like human being using water for drinking, bathing, and washing, and can also be in agriculture, industry, and factories. Water pollution is the combination of water bodies such as lakes, rivers, ocean, aquifer, and groundwater. Problem can be overcome by the Environmental Quality Act of 1974 power over environmental conditions such as water pollution. Therefore, legal approach must be consistent or compatible with the problem faced by the country so that this problem can be solved quickly by the government. Secondly, I would like to talk about statement of the problem. Water contamination is one of the environmental issues that require good collaboration from the public, corporate, and community sectors. There are a variety of strategies to lessen pollution, but historically it was believed that law and regulation will be one of the more effective approaches. There are two objectives we need to achieve. Number one, to introduce regulation that can be utilized to combat water contamination in Malaysia. Number two, to find out the effectiveness of the law in use to address water pollution in Malaysia. There are a lot of the cause of water pollution. Number one, spill or leaks from oil and chemical contents, threat effluents going into surface water drains instead of fuel water drains or straight into watercourses. Number three, remaining too much water from surface waters and groundwater. Number four, runoff containing fertilizer and pesticides from farming into surface water. This part, I would like to talk about the law and regulation in Malaysia that can be used to control water pollution. Number one, Environmental Quality Act EQA 1974 Section T4B4 specific that anyone found to have a polluted water is subject to a fine of up to Rm 5,000, a term of imprisonment of up to 5 years or both. Secondly, in contrast, Section C 430 of the Penal Code imposes a 4 harshest penalty, entailing a sentence of 5 to 30 years in jail or a fine or both if the accused is proven guilty. Effectiveness of each rule and law involved. We may observe the effectiveness of each law and regulation in Malaysia through a variety of means. In this case, Section 911 of the Water Service Industry Act 2006 states that thus are subject to a fine not to exceed 100, a term of incarceration not to exceed 1 year, or a combination of both. In the meantime, Section 34B4 of the Environmental Quality Act of 1974 states that anyone found guilty of pollution water is subject to a fine of not more than 500 up to 5 years in prison or both. Last but not least, Section 430 of the Penal Code establishes a sustainably worse penalty. This part, I would like to talk about who can enforce each of the law lists. The enforcement process will be taken by relevant agency, particularly by the Department of Environment, just under the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Minister. Each state government needs to set aside all political difference that they have and need to establish close cooperation with the central government to ensure that any test of pollution is not also on a serious scale in our country. All all parties should give priority to the welfare and early of the people in an effort to curb pollution. Last but not least, if we compare the legal approach with the approach of education and awareness, in my opinion, the most suitable method is education. An extensive and solid education can educate us to be responsible people. If a person does not have knowledge related to education, social now easy to make mistake by not complying with environmental law. Draw education in law related school, awareness can be applied. For example, the law can be observed from school so that they can understand current for environmental issue. Conclusion about story water pollution is there are several areas that needs to be improvement to maintain the sustainability of water management. To prevent this pollution from continue, the government and the community can work together to ensure a clean environment so that people, plants and animals get clean water to serve. Work must be done in accordance with the legal standard set so that water pollution can be reduced from time to time. Other than that, we already know the various types of pollution and the problem that also when it leads to water pollution, and the government can emphasize anxiety law so that this problem can be reduced. Last but not least, the law and regulation should be approved when applied because they will not have a detrimental effect on the public.